exactly one day since I've given the state of marijuana's legalization in America. And so let's keep going. How much marijuana am I allowed to possess in the places in America that's legalized marijuana? Alaska, Colorado, D.C., Oregon, Washington. And D.C., what the fuck is up with D.C.? It's a creature of Congress. They can't vote for the president, but they have their own elected leadership. They're federal, state, their own. I think they're like Guam. I think they're like fucking Puerto Rico. It's a territory of the United States. They don't have any say-so. They don't have the right to vote in the presidential election, but they have their own elected leadership, which can pass laws and do this and do that. D.C. is like Guam? D.C.? Well, all right, anyway. How much marijuana am I allowed to possess? In Alaska, adults 21 years of age and older can possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana. So all of them are 21 years and up, but they can possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana in Alaska and up to 6 plants. Now, Alaska is good because they will allow coffee shops. They've passed a law to say that there can be public consumption, so you can have these social coffee shops, whereas Colorado and Oregon and Washington don't have any coffee shops right now. They are against public consumption, so you can go to a store, you could go purchase it, but you got to get back right into your fucking house. And while they're better than the other 45 or 46 states, they're not as good as Alaska. Alaska seems to be actually leading the charge in terms of the most liberal laws when it comes to the legalization of cannabis. So, and you can have 6 marijuana plants. So that means in Alaska, Colorado, most of them, they are exactly the same. So you could have 1 ounce, you could possess up to 1 ounce, and then you could have 6 plants in your house. And actually, they have a weird law. You can have 6 plants, but only 3 of them could be mature or some shit. I don't know. But then you can, have as much as you want in your own house. So you could have, I guess pounds and pounds of marijuana in your own house. That's no problem, but you just can't carry more than 1 ounce on you, on your person, in your car. You can only have 1 ounce. Same with Colorado, Alaska. They're the exact same thing. And D.C., it's 21 years of age. That's the same. You could have 2 ounces of marijuana and 6 plants. So again, they're all the same in terms of how much you could raise. 6 plants in Alaska, 6 plants in Colorado, and 6 plants in D.C., but D.C., you can possess 2 ounces. You can have 2 ounces. So I don't know. I mean, D.C. is they're in a weird no man's land right now, since they are like Guam, and so they're not allowed to tax or regulate it, but it's legal. So that means the black market is only getting stronger, and there's no sales. You can't have any sales in D.C., so you can only have gifts. You can only give gifts to people. And then you can only give 1 ounce, up to 1 ounce. That's all you can. So the laws are pretty complicated, but these are the general big rules for each one of them. And, cops don't even fucking know the Bill of Rights, let alone, the specifics of these things. So, and they've only arrested like 6 people in D.C. for marijuana. So they must have had like, 13 plants or something. But they said actually you're allowed to have up to 6 marijuana plants, but I've also read that in the same house, you can have 12. So I think it's actually to limit it. If you're 1 person in a house, then you could have, 6 plants. But if there's 2 people that's in the house, then you could both have 6 plants. It's 12. But if there's 3 people, 3 adults over 21 in the house, then you could raise, theoretically 6 apiece. But they're saying no, just 12. So I don't know, 12 perhaps. I don't know if that extends it or limits it. It seems like it limits it. It limits it because if you have, more than 2 people, then they're not allowed to raise as much as they want to. So they're all pretty much consistent. Alaska, Colorado, D.C. when it comes to raising 6 marijuana plants. D.C. is, good, a point for D.C. because you can hold another ounce, a point for Alaska. Because you can, they've passed a law, it's not even really actually legal in Alaska, but they passed a law saying that there's going to be public consumption. They're going to be passing out licenses May 2016, and so it's coming. They're just sort of, I don't know, got to work out the bugs and shit. And Alaska also has a long culture, a long history of being in favor of the legalization of marijuana for 40 years. They've actually had some law in the book saying that the Constitution actually protects you to have private, a private amount in your house, and that's no problem whatsoever. And frankly, the right to privacy, I don't even see how that you're not allowed to do something like that. That's, I don't know. I don't want the community to be like, a bunch of heroin addicts and shit, but it's almost like it's a new form of racism. It's like we got to hate somebody, hate something, to feel better, superior than something, give our cops and prosecutors someone to just attack and go after. And if you're peaceful, if you're a mess head and you're, just fucking yourself up and just your face is melting, you're taking crocodile and devil's breath and the worst shit, drinking gasoline, whatever. But you're peaceful and you're not doing anything. If anything, I would pity you and want, to show you a good time, to have a conversation with you, wonder why you're doing this to yourself. But to think that if I was to go over there and beat the shit out of them, that somehow would make my community a better place, and then throw them in jail so that way taxpayers can support their life, while they're in the clink. I don't understand, all the haters. I don't know why there's so many fucking people that just want to hate all the damn time. I am the hater of haters. I am the rebel of rebels. I am the asshole to the assholes. I am the oppressor to the oppressors. Whatever, I believe in eye for an eye justice, and I think that, a lot of liberals, they want to sort of just, I love and I'm good and whatever. Well, you allow people to steamroll over you, allow people to do bad shit to other people, and to be good, to have no power behind your goodness, you're letting evil win. You're letting evil win. And so, good for me. Okay, so, Oregon, all adults 21 years of age and older can possess up to 8 ounces. Wow! What? 8 ounces. Okay, Oregon, you just got on the map here. I've been pretty pissed off at Oregon because they were the ones that were shutting down the few coffee shops that they had. They were like member coffee shops. They weren't legal, but you could pay for a membership, and it was, it's a private club. So you're allowed to go to the private club, bring your own. Well, you can possess up to 8 ounces. So that's cool. You can drive around with 8 ounces right on you. And up to 4 marijuana plants. So not as good, but you can still raise them and possess any amount of marijuana produced in those states where it's grown. So, in all these states, you can, how much your plant produces, you're allowed to keep every bit of it. You can only have 4 plants in Oregon. You can have 6 plants in Colorado, D.C., and Alaska. And all this is, where am I going to go next? Where am I going to go? In the state I'm at, in the state I've been in any of the states around me, they're a bunch of fucking Nazis when it comes to the war on drugs. We have a police state because of the war on drugs. I don't know. Have we ever been Mayberry? Have we ever fucking been Mayberry? So, Oregon, good for you with the 8 ounces. Up to 8 ounces. That's amazing. I don't know, an ounce should last you, about a month or so, so 8 ounces. I don't know, I think that's good because an ounce isn't that much. An ounce is just like, what, 1/16 of a pound? So, and also I'll show you another trick. A nickel is 5 grams, 5 cents, 5 grams. Anyways, Washington, adults 21 years of age and older can possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana. And it's illegal to possess any number of marijuana plants. Washington, what the fuck? So Washington State, Washington State has actually just got worse than motherfucking Oregon. Washington State, you can't have any coffee shops, and there are sales going on now, but you can't have no coffee shops, no public consumption, and you can have no growing. It's a felony, a fucking felony. So that's sort of like that Ohio thing. Ohio, that bill, that amendment was voted down because there was only 10 corporations that wrote the thing, and only they can make fucking money at it. So they wanted to, really exploit the shit out of Ohio, and that's what it seems like Washington is doing. They don't want you to raise your own shit. No, you got to go to the fucking coffee shops in order, or no, not even coffee shops. You have to go to the fucking pot store, right, where they actually just, sell you pot, but they don't actually allow you to consume it there, and you're not allowed to raise it in your own home. Who the fuck does Washington State think they are? They're going to tell me what? I can't, if I wanted a rose, are you going to say, oh, you can't grow roses in your fucking house? I don't know. I mean, I think this world would be a much better place if we had cannabis gardens all over the place. So that way we can, compare and contrast and say, hey, what are you raising? What's going on? How's your kids? How's your family? It'd be the best thing to, people socialize over drugs all the time, whether it's alcohol, nicotine, or caffeine. I mean, coffee shops, coffee, tea, you know what I mean? Like, those are mild drugs, mild stimulants, but stimulants nonetheless. So that's Washington. Fucking, you can be a felony if you raise a plant there. Go to the store, buy whatever the fuck you want, but if you take one of those seeds that you buy out of and try to raise your own fucking, plant, you'll go to fucking jail. So that's a little bit bullshit. That's consumeresponsibly.org. That's the website. Here's another one that basically says the same information, WashingtonPost.com. If it comes back up here, I don't know. Actually, it's going down. But I guess I'll do another overview to be comprehensive about this whole thing. So let's just refresh this. Okay, so, Canada's going to legalize it to the entire fucking nation to the north. What is there, like 12 fucking states in Canada? So all the places in Canada are going to be legal. You got North Korea, it's legal in North Korea. Fucking Sarah Palin, that's what Democrats, this is a liberal issue. So why the fuck don't Democrats stand up against the war? Why don't Democrats stand up against the war on drugs? You get someone like Sarah Palin and Rand Paul who comes out and says, war is bullshit and, we need to protect people's privacy rights. And clearly that's fucking true if you're logical. Prohibition, do you remember the lessons of prohibition? First they made alcohol illegal, they passed that amendment, and then, there was all the violence and crime, it increased. Al Capone was created out of prohibition. How is this a good thing for anybody? To create more Al Capone. So they went ahead and passed another amendment undoing prohibition. And when they undid prohibition, they had said that it was they had good intentions, but it was a failed experiment. Well, let's stop failing, doing these failed experiments. Prohibition didn't work. It was bullshit. Creates more crimes. Gives more the drug dealers all the fucking money and the fucking cops. And you don't think cops get fucking corrupt? Hell, in Letcher County, Kentucky, they have cops that right now will, bust the pot dealers that they don't like, and then they will take those pots that, the guy's marijuana and give it to the dealers that they do like, that they've, either getting a cut of it or they're just buddy with them or some shit. I don't know. But I know that they're involved in the drug trade. And they're stealing people's drugs and they're, giving it to their fucking buddies and shit. So this Alaska legalizes marijuana day thing is not coming up. I don't know why, because I had these two pages. Basically, it was whether or not you could grow them. I guess I was comprehensive. Okay, so D.C., 65% voted in favor of it, so that's actually an overwhelming majority. That's a good threshold compared to the 55% in Colorado, 53% in Alaska, 56% in Oregon, and 56% in Washington. Those kind of just barely tipped the scales, but D.C. was just straight up, hell yeah, we're going to legalize this shit. That's what we're going to do, and you ain't going to stop it. You understand? So good for D.C., man. 65%. It's, and I hear that there's marijuana smoke in the streets of D.C. and that people are, tolerating it. I heard other ones in Washington State that complaining, and even in California. I read this in California. Old people, both Democrats and Republicans, if you're fucking old, you're being a bitch about this. You're being shitty. Well, because you've been lying your whole fucking lives. You've been lying to the goddamn youth, and fuck you. They're voting against it. And that's bullshit. They tried to legalize it before. Oh, okay, I guess we'll talk about what states do we look for that might legalize it. California has 10 initiatives right now on the ballot. 10 initiatives. Or they're trying to get 10 initiatives. There's like 5 real serious efforts. But most likely California is going to have something on the ballot. You're going to have Nevada. Nevada has... excuse me. Nevada has 2016 ballot, so that initiative is on the 2016 ballot in Nevada. Maine, also 2016 ballot. So Maine, Nevada, California. I've also heard Massachusetts in passing, but I know that Maine, Nevada, and California have initiatives that are coming up in 2016. So look for them to pass it. I would say Maine and California are a shoo-in. Nevada, I don't know. I mean, Las Vegas, of course, drugs are everywhere there. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen the polls or any information about it. I would think that it's just a popular issue, but, sometimes you get the Ohio type of bullshit. Not only do you have conservatives against it, but also, the pro-legalization advocates are against it because it only benefits, 10 fucking corporations. So, no, legalize it and make it liberal to where you could raise it, do this and do that. And, I don't know. This is just another sticking point with me. But, what the fuck is up with my so-called fucking friends? It's like they can't say a goddamn thing unless it's to criticize me. They can't support me. They can't say, hey, go do this, do that. I don't know. I wrote a marijuana law for my home state of Kentucky, and people are like, well, what are these so-called, limitations? And the only thing that basically it was the most liberating, free fucking marijuana law you could ever fucking think of, but because I was in favor of this shit, it's like, well, you're just a regular person, so fuck you. It's like, I don't understand people. It's like they want to fucking, I don't know. They would rather, argue with you over some dumb little fucking shit instead of, help you get elected, help go out and get votes and do all the shit that you got to do in order to get elected. No, I think you're wrong about that one thing that you said. Well, fuck off. Do you agree with anything? Well, yeah, I would love for it to be legal. Well, is it legal now? No, it's not fucking legal. So whatever your fucking efforts was about arguing with that dumb shit with me, you fucked up. And, I'm not your fucking friend. I think you're an asshole. Anyways, okay. The only restriction that I had actually put out was there was, because I lived in Colorado, so I was looking at some of the residual effects, what happens when you do this. And there were some people that are eating too many brownies, and they're, not overdosing, but sort of I heard you can't overdose on it, but you can get so much THC in you that you just kind of pass out. Well, I don't want you to pass out. I want you to know what you're getting into. So when it comes to brownies and your other edibles, put a label on it, how much has been used on it, You need to air a warning, some type of warning, Some people may eat this and just go to sleep for 3 fucking days. And so nibble, take small bites and small pieces. That's, a warning label, something like that. So it's like, well, what kind of restrictions are going to be? Oh, I'm glad I made the issue so goddamn clear to your insignificant ass that you're trying to be like, well, this is wrong. This doesn't seem right at all. But the politicians who's like, blah, 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 fake, fake, fake. There's an ad on TV. Well, I'm stupid, so I'm just going to vote for what the fucking ad on TV said. Jesus Christ. Low information voters. Kentucky are low information. They only need to know 1 or 2 fucking things for you or against you to go along with you. And it's fucking disgusting. It's fucking bullshit. Anyways, enough about me being frustrated with my home state. Marijuana can't be consumed in public in any of the places that has been legalized except Alaska. Can individuals grow it at home? As in Colorado, adults in Alaska and D.C. could grow up to 6 plants in their home, 3 of them mature. So Colorado, Alaska, D.C., 6 plants is good in your house, and only 3 of them can be mature. So I guess you got to raise 3 1 month, and then halfway, 6 weeks later, you got to raise another 3. In Oregon, the limit is 4 plants, but for each household, regardless of the number of adults there. So every household, you got a husband and wife, no, just 4 plants. And adults, in Alaska, D.C., and Colorado can grow up to 6 plants. So that means, if a husband and wife, you could raise 12. You could have 12 of them. Oh, that's my husband's plants. Those are my wife's plants. So that's actually a good reason to get married. You should get married so you can double, but then you're doubling the consumption. I don't know. I guess that sort of works. No, that's not a reason to get married. Anyways, Oregon, the limit is, God, fucking find me a pothead. I mean, that would... Oh, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll even fucking pack the goddamn bowl, you know what I mean? Like, shit. To find somebody that's like, you know, that I could chill with, and God, that would be amazing. But it's fucking Kentucky. You got bigots, rednecks, people with no fucking teeth, and then they're loud and obnoxious and fucking stupid. Even the potheads there. Like, even the ones at Canistock. God, they were so shitty. They were so fucking shitty. And then they paid the guy there that's a fucking piece of shit, and he doesn't even own the land. They paid him to use the land, and he doesn't even fucking own it. In Oregon, the limit is 4 plants, but that is for each household, regardless of the number of adults there. In D.C., each household is limited to 12 plants total. So there's a limit in D.C. You can only have 12 total. It's 12 is a lot, but I guess that's bullshit, you know. Is anyone? I'm sure the people that was criticizing me would have been like, well, how come there's only 12 plants? No, they didn't fucking criticize them because they wrote a long-ass, complicated law that they didn't fucking read. And only the people that was writing the shit, writing the bill, was the ones that even fucking mattered. People who are so insignificantly, politically insignificant. God, I don't know why I let them get to me. I swear to God. Anyways, in Oregon, each household is limited to possession of 8 ounces at home. Okay, Oregon, you just fucking changed a little bit there. You can possess an ounce in the other states, but I thought you could possess 8 ounces, but they're saying you can only possess 8 ounces at home. So Oregon, fuck you again. Fuck you for not having coffee shops. Fuck you for only saying you can have 8 ounces. If I have a plant that produces what? Goddamn pounds? 2, 3, 4 pounds? I can't keep it? Fuck Oregon, man. Oregon is just such bullshit. They have only 4 plants, so it's less plants that you can have there. And then they're limiting to only 8 ounces in your own house. In your own house. In your own house, like the privacy, you should have like as much as you fucking want. So, but in Alaska, Colorado, and D.C., adults can possess all that they grow. So, in Washington, it's a fucking felony. It's a fucking felony in Washington. So, Alaska, Colorado, D.C., those are the 3 leading ones. I've liked Colorado the most. They're the first ones. You know, they're the guinea pigs. They're the ones leading the charge. But they seem to be scaling back a lot of things. You're that Colorado Springs killer. So I didn't realize there was a bunch of fucking redneck fucking pieces of shit there. And then, lastly, you know, Washington. Fucking Washington. So, not lastly. Colorado, D.C., and Alaska. So right now, as I am right now, December 6, 2015, if I had to pick a state, it's really in between D.C. and Alaska. Colorado's not even in the running. D.C. is really fucking, you know, it's closer to me. It's on the eastern seaboard, so it's only about, you know, a day's drive versus 2 days. Colorado actually isn't that far away from me. It's probably a day's drive out west. It's actually a small country. I didn't realize it spans, you know, all the way across, but it doesn't take, you know, a hard day's drive. I think you could get to Colorado maybe in 2 days. So that's no reason to not go someplace just because it would take, you know, 2 days driving time. Fuck, okay, so Colorado's a little bit back in there, but D.C.'s shorter, it's quicker, it's in no man's land. People are getting more accepting of it. You can possess, consume, grow. You can't sell or buy, so it's in a weird no man's land. It's by the nation's capital, so I think that's actually a good thing because you could get into politics and get into lobbying and try to get, you know, shit passed. But ultimately, Alaska is a fucking, you know, when it comes to the most liberal laws out there, not only can you possess all the same amount, 6 plants, as you can in other states, but you can, you know, there's going to be coffee shops, so there's going to be public consumption. So Alaska has the most, if I have to vote today, Alaska is the most liberal state when it comes to the legalization of marijuana in the United States of America. So no public consumption except for Alaska. It's the only one that's doing it. I want to make sure I covered everything here. 1 ounce gifts are legal in area A. What's A? Alaska. Shit. Colorado, Oregon, D.C., and Alaska. 1 ounce gifts are legal. So yeah, you can give people gifts. That's really fucking great. But you can't buy or sell in D.C. You got to have license, right, to have a coffee shop. But the only place that has a coffee shop, Alaska. So Alaska, man, the home of Mike Gravel. the Eskimos and igloos and all that oil. Don't you get a check? Everybody gets a check for, you know, oil just for living there? And maybe because it's like so fucking far north, they try to get people to come on up there. And fuck Russia. Russia wants to try to come to Alaska. I'll fuck some Russians up. I mean, I like Russia. There's nothing wrong with the country of Russia. You have, I love those, God, who are the women? Oh, Pussy Riot. I love your old Pussy Riot in Russia. So, they can cross over, but any of you fucking Nazis, but that's, I don't know. I'm pissed off at Turkey. You know, Turkey's fucking blowing motherfuckers out of the sky. Anyways, that's my update. Johnny Tsunami. Peace.